Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Three fishermen on a crabbing boat. That's actually one of the boats that I believe is on, the show The Deadliest Catch. Were killed last night in their boat that capsized off the coast of Oregon, Newport, Oregon, and that's the location there. It's the Mary B2 is the vessel, I believe, and that is right there. That's it at port, I think, is what you would say. And there is the boat on the shore after the three fishermen were killed. Two of them were found on the beach, and one was actually found inside. I think they call it the pilot section of the boat. And it was about 10 p.m. last night. It was obviously terrible, terrible conditions. Everybody else had come in. In fact, one fisherman or one captain, I believe, another vessel was communicating with them on his way in, and saying, "Why are you going out?" And they went out anyways. I think one of the three crew members was literally just communicating with somebody else just in the last day or two on that this would be his last trip, and that he had already found another job, and this was going to be his final trip out. I mean, it's just terrible. So in this report here, they actually show the crew and stuff. I don't know that they discuss each person, but this I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. This article here describes exactly the Coast Guard was literally within trying to get them in. They basically, I think, as I understand it, there's a bar, which is a section of the sea, I think, in between two jetties where the waves get unbelievably high for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm not a seaman, and crossing that bar. To get to port is what they were trying to do, and they didn't navigate it, and it basically a wave just completely engulfed the boat and capsized it, and just took it completely down underwater. That's how I understand it. So let me just kind of read it to you quickly from Thomas Malloy, the Yaquina Bay Coast Guard commanding officer, describes it. So seas were building fast Tuesday night, going from almost flat 4-foot waves to nearly 20-foot. Because of the increasingly dangerous conditions, the Coast Guard began escorting other fishing vessels in. And actually, the Coast Guard, I think, was tugging some boats in and had just done that. And then they saw this boat out there. I think they saw the light of the cabin out there, and they weren't able to communicate with it. And I think they went out to it, and at some point did make communication with them, and then were trying to basically steer them in and to coach them in and tell them what to do to get in. So just before 10 p.m., Coast Guard crews spotted the Mary B2 halogen light on the horizon, but the crew wasn't answering the radio. Malloy said, "We did some detective work and found a way to reach them," Malloy said. "They said they were coming back and were not asking for assistance, but we decided to be proactive. We met them at buoy number 1 and explained our procedure for safely crossing the bar." The Coast Guard began escorting the Mary B2, one of the tips of the jetty, about a mile. I guess at one of the tips of the jetty, about a mile. The crew told the Coast Guard the boat would make 7 knots, about 8 miles per hour, but it could only make 2 knots, Malloy said. So I think the crew told them they could actually travel at about 8 miles an hour, but they really could only go about at 2 miles an hour, and that makes it more difficult, I think, to get across that bar and not get swallowed up by a huge wave, I think. And you're just a sitting duck out there. I have no idea. I'm just kind of doing some guessing here, but I think I can tell you we didn't cover that mile very fast, he said. We got close to the entrance. I began calling and telling them they were lining up too far north. We call them the dumping grounds. Most fishermen here know to avoid them. The boat did not come starboard in time and was swamped. A wave washed right over the top of the pilot house. The boat was washed around the north jetty and onto the beach. And they were killed, all three of them. Two of the deceased men were found on the beach. Bernanke was found in the pilot house, but too heavy surf made recovery of his body too dangerous. Bernanke and Lacey were new to the area, and the boat recently purchased, said Tanat Dixon, president of the Newport Fishermen's Wives Group. A Facebook page in Bernanke's name shows a photo of the boat posted on November 5th. When a friend commented that he thought Bernanke had been joking, Bernanke replied, "No joke, Jim 300 pot limited entry." I don't know what that means. So here's a quick little report about it, and that's the vessel right there.
A small pile of wood there on the edge of the sand is all that remains of the wheelhouse from the crab boat Mary B2. This picture from Newport News Times shows the boat 2 days ago as it offloaded its crab. That's Josh Porter standing in the boat. He's from Toledo, Oregon. The other two on the boat, skipper Stephen Bernanke and James Lacey, are from New Jersey and apparently new to West Coast crabbing and the conditions here.
Josh, he's a great guy. I mean, I've known him for a lot of years. We've gotten really close in the fishing community. We've traveled all over the place together.
Ian Wood may have been the last person to communicate with Porter. They texted last night as...
Man, it's pretty terrible. They're all pretty young, you know, especially it's the two new dudes. Well, that is the story there, man. It's a shame. The fatal accident occurred after the fishermen requested the U.S. Coast Guard to assist them in crossing the Yaquina Bar shortly before 2 p.m. due to high seas. Coast Guard crew, which was already on the scene for an escort request, witnessed the capsizing and quickly went into search and rescue mode. That's the Coast Guard boats right there, going out there to rescue them. And there was nothing that could be done after it got swamped, or the wave just engulfed the vessel, flipped it over, or took it under. All right, that is the story there, man. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.